What's up, everyone, and welcome into another episode of Wizards Latest. I'm your host and DC sports fan, Ben Robertson, and on this page, we break down all the biggest headlines surrounding the Washington Wizards. So, today, I want to talk about the re signing of Tristan Vukcevic. What does this mean? What is one thing the Wizards can do that really nobody else can this offseason? One thing I'm excited about for tomorrow night's Summer League debut, and lastly, what should expectations for Tre Johnson be in that Summer League debut? So, as always, drop your comments down below. I appreciate all of the support, you guys. I want to start to talk about some of those comments and maybe dive into those a little bit as the channel progresses. Like and subscribe while you're down there as well. And let's jump right in to Wizards' latest. So, Tristan Vukcevic re-signing with the Wizards on another 2-year deal today. Vooch had a really impressive close to the season, and remember, a lot of people thought he might have even earned himself a legitimate roster spot for the year in 35 games played, averaged 9.5 points, 3.7 rebounds, in 15 minutes per night, shooting splits of 49, 37%, and 77% from the free throw line. It was really the close to the year that had everybody excited about Vukcevic. Last 6 games for him, averaged 18 points, 6 rebounds, over 25 minutes per night, and shot the ball just so well from beyond the arc, 55% from downtown over the last 6 games of the year. And that ability is what everybody is really so excited about when it comes to Tristan. Maybe some worries about his athleticism on the defensive end, but when you see a guy at that height, a 7-footer that can shoot the long ball, as well as he does, it has to fire you up. And it seems like he's going to get another shot here in this upcoming NBA season. Again, back here with the Wizards for another year on a 2-year deal. And we'll see if he can maybe build on how he closed out the year. Remember, had that big 28-point performance on the very final game of the year against the Miami Heat. And he's going to have a very legitimate shot once the season comes along to really get some serious minutes. For the main reason is that there's just not a ton of bigs right now on this roster. Of course, you have Alex Sarr. I mentioned yesterday, Richaun Holmes still hanging around, but a potential candidate to get waived. And despite the roster actually being over the limit for player spots once the actual season rolls around, the Wizards right now are just really limited in terms of big man depth. Of course, traded on Kelly Olynyk earlier this week, and so you wonder, as I sort of discussed yesterday, is there an option for Tristan to get get himself back into the rotation? And while he'll have a 50-game cap, of course, on that 2-year deal this year, he's going to have, again, another legitimate shot to build on what he did at the, down the stretch of last year's campaign. So, of course, Summer League has been a huge, topic and storyline this week. Summer League action getting started for the Wizards this Friday night, July 11th against the Phoenix Suns. And we've chatted about the roster all week long, and I felt like it was so important that they were able to include some of the second-year players on this roster and the first rounders from a season ago. Of course, 7 total first rounders on this year's Summer League roster. But it's not just important because they're going to get to actually play in some games together, and really we're not sure how much those second-year guys like Bub and Alex Sarr really are actually going to play. It might just be a couple of the actual summer league contest for them. But one thing I love about them just being on the roster is that over this past week, in the week leading up to summer league, the summer league kickoff, or in Vegas at least, of course, this Thursday night, and then for the Wizards tomorrow night on Friday, they've been able to work together in the gym. And I'm not sure anyone else in the league can actually say they have a potential to have 3 starters in the regular season on their summer league team. And I don't want to project too far yet to what the starting 5 is going to be, but you have, of course, Bob Carrington, Tre Johnson, who might be your starting backcourt, and you're going to be your starting center, and Alex Sarr on this roster. So even if they don't play all 5 games, even if they all only play a couple, we're still not sure if Alex Sarr is going to play later this summer with France. They're going to get together and get time in the gym this week. not only to build and grow some chemistry with each other, but also, remember, I talked about yesterday, this front office is still in full eval mode. They're trying to evaluate everybody on the roster and see where they are. And these practices are just another opportunity to do that. Not only see how well these players, just are playing and how good they look, but also see how different guys fit together. And again, so much of this year is about evaluation. I love that there's just a few more opportunities to do that, not only in the Summer League actual contest, but also in this week leading up with the Summer League roster. So again, sticking on, just the Summer League topic and that debut coming up tomorrow, I want to give you sort of just a couple storylines. And here's one big thing I'm hoping for. I would love Alex Sarr, even if he just plays a game or two. I would love him to look really good, potentially even dominant at the Summer League level. Obviously, he really struggled last year, particularly offensively in the Summer League. And while everybody, I think I don't want to say gave him a pass for it, but it was sort of easy to shrug that off. It would be, I think, really disappointing if we didn't see some improvements made here in this year's Summer League, whatever amount of action he does get in it. And you would love if he plays two games, you would love to cut him just to come out in that first one and just absolutely roll and sort of make a statement that he's ready for this upcoming NBA season. So the other guy, of course, making his debut tomorrow night in the Summer League is Tre Johnson. And that is just maybe the biggest storyline heading into that action. Tre's going to have a chance to match up with two other of the top 6 picks in the draft in this Summer League schedule. Of course, VJ Edgecombe and Ace Bailey going to be on the schedule. And then there's also a couple other top 10 picks in Kaman Maluak and Igor Demin that are on the schedule. And while I don't think Tre's going to be, matched up directly with those guys, at least typically for the most of the time. It'll still be interesting just to gauge what he can do and how he looks against the other top players in this year's draft class. We're also going to get a chance to look at him and Bub Carrington work together in that backcourt for the first time. Again, why it's so valuable to have some of those second year players on the roster. Bub, another guy I talked about yesterday, I would love to see what he's done, added a little bit of weight to the frame coming into this year, hoping you can get, that jump shot from, the 3-point shot really a little bit more consistent this season, be a little bit more efficient because so many of us loved a lot of the things he did last year. So again, remember, Summer League action getting started tomorrow. This will probably come out here Thursday evening at the time of this recording. So tomorrow we'll break down a little bit more about the Summer League. I'm going to want to preview that Friday night matchup as well as the Sunday night matchup. Want to give you guys a couple more players to watch. Obviously, we've talked about the bigger names right now on the roster, but some guys that have a chance to prove themselves here in this year's Summer League and are really going to be fighting to make the roster, maybe even, carve themselves out a role on the roster once the regular season rolls around. So make sure to like and subscribe down below. Drop your comments on any thoughts you might have had in the video. You can also send your thoughts over to me on Twitter at Ben Robertson32. Hit me with any future video ideas there as well. Would love to interact with you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe again. And thanks for watching another episode of Wizards Latest.